Welcome into the Alabama Football Report. I am your host, Chris Daughtery. We are 2 days away now, guys, from Alabama kicking off for the first game of the season. So we're going to break down today our final depth chart predictions. We did some, position battle predictions a couple days ago, but we're going to break it down every single position group on offense and defense. And I think special teams, everybody kind of knows where we're sitting there, but we'll also break that down for you guys as well. But before we get into all the breakdown and everything, we are going to be doing our first watch party of the season this year. So make sure you guys do not miss out on that. Turn your notifications on. Go back to the, home page where you first subscribed to the channel. Go up to the bell icon and change it from personalized to all so you don't miss out on any time we post an Alabama video or go live here on the channel. So make sure you do that. Join the Noti gang for me and join our watch party. We're going to go live an hour before kickoff. So make sure you guys join us for that. We're going to have a really, really fun time. The first position group we're going to break down, we're going to go offense first and then defense second. I think we pretty much know how the quarterback group stands. You got Jalen Milroe. He's your starting quarterback this year. No ifs, ands, ors, or buts about it. Ty Simpson, also a quality backup for you. I think last night one of the, the biggest things that stuck out to me that Kalen DeBoer said during his radio show is the fact that he said there were four quarterbacks in this room that he thought could go out there and play winning football for you. And I think that's absolutely true. I think Ty Simpson, if anything, God forbid something happens to Jalen Milroe, Ty Simpson can go out there and get the job done. And I'll tell you what, too, I cannot wait for a couple of years where Dylan Longergan and Austin Mack, if those two guys stick around, that is going to be a really, really fun quarterback battle in the future. But Jalen Milroe and Ty Simpson are your 1 and 2, and that's pretty much solidified. We see what these guys have done in their career. And I tell you what, man, Ty Simpson should also have another touchdown, but he dropped that, really long run that he had at the 1 yard line, just a bonehead mistake. But I do think Ty Simpson can go out there and sling the ball as well. I think he's got a lot of confidence. I think Jalen Milroe in this system in the offseason has also gained a lot of confidence. And I tell you what, man, this is your 25 games, career stats for Jalen Milroe. I think there is a very solid, possibility that he could go out there this season and put those numbers up in one season. I think that would be a really, really solid season for Jalen Milroe. And you know what? Maybe he doesn't throw 9 interceptions. Hopefully he keeps it, less than that. But if he could put those kind of numbers up, I definitely think he can be in the Heisman, finalist conversation. So I want to hear from you guys in the comments section. This is a big year for Jalen Milroe. He has an actual chance to play himself into the first round of the NFL draft if he goes out there and, does what I think he really can do. And I think a lot of people, really believe in him as well. There's some people out there that don't, but you know what? It is democracy. Do you guys think Jalen Milroe will be a Heisman finalist this season? Type Y for yes if you think he does, or type N if you think he does not. It is the pinned comment of today's video, so if that ad comes here on YouTube, that's totally fine. Go down there, take advantage of it, and let me know in the comments section of today's video. I think this is one of the most fun rooms that Alabama has right now in their running back room. Justice Haynes, Jam Miller are your 1-2 punch. Those guys are going to be amazing for you this year. And I also will throw out Richard Young. I think he's going to get some pretty solid playing time for you as well this year. I think there's really going to be a three-headed monster when it comes to this running back room for Alabama. I no longer think that Richard Young is just going to be a mop-up running back. I think he is going to go in there. He could be your third down back. He could be your power goal line type of back. I think, honestly, all of these guys could do that. But Richard Young is a little bit bigger. And then you also have the freshman running backs as well. Daniel Hill, he's a really, really big-bodied running back as well. Cannot wait to see what he can do for Alabama. And you also have Kevin Riley from Tuscaloosa as well, from Tuscaloosa in high school. So, you got your hometown kid there again, but, this running back room is probably one of the best running back rooms that Alabama has had in the past couple of seasons. Moving on now to the wide receivers, I'm going to go ahead and keep Jaren Hamilton on here as that wide receiver 4 option. I think right now, Germie Bernard, Kendrick Law, Kobe Prentice are really your top 3 wide receivers in this group right now. I really love what Kendrick Law, brings to the table in terms of, you heard Coach Shep the other day say he has really been the enforcer. He wants to throw those blocks on guys, and I really love it when you hear that from the wide receiver coach, that you've got wide receivers who can go out there and not just make a contribution when they have the ball in their hands, but also when they don't have the ball in their hands. And I think this wide receiver group can absolutely do that. And when you look at, the quote-unquote second-team wide receivers, Emmanuel Henderson, a guy that is just waiting to break out. He is a really, really fast guy. I cannot wait to see what he can do with the ball in his hands. Cole Adams, I think they can use him in a number of ways as well. And then you got the true freshmen who have come in, and I'm not even going to say surprised everybody, but has really solidified the fact that they're going to play this year for Alabama. Caleb Odom and Ryan Williams. Those 2 guys are going to be really, really good for you. It's not a matter of if, it's more of a matter of when. I would love to see them this week. I think there's definitely a possibility that we see them this week, next week, but it's only a matter of time before those guys really climb into that starting rotation for you. And I mean, man, I love what I hear from Coach Shep from this wide receiver room. He talked about the fact that if you got a guy dropping the ball on the field, there's plenty of other guys that can also, make a contribution for you. So I really like what I see from this wide receiver room so far. Next up is going to be the tight end room. This is how I have it sitting right now. I think C.J. Dupree is going to be really good for you this year. Danny Lewis, I think last year wasn't utilized as much as he could have been, but I think he's still, a really good athlete, can catch the ball, can block for you as well. I think Josh Cuevas, Robbie Oots are also going to be guys that are going to be able to contribute for you this year too. We'll see what Ty Lockwood, I don't think really Jay Lindsey's going to do much for you this year. Probably those guys not so much, but I will say a sleeper in this tight end room is the transfer from Washington in Josh Cuevas. Next to the offensive line, I think this is those guys are going to trot out there at this starting offensive line. Caden Proctor, your left tackle, I think he's going to make a really big jump this year at that left tackle spot. Tyler Booker, Parker Brailsford, Jaden Roberts, those guys are super solid for you on the interior of the offensive line. And then I think Wilkin Formby is going to be the guy to go out there to start at right tackle. We see the pictures that Alabama puts out. He is consistently the guy working with the ones. Now, whether or not that is, Alabama's media team just picking and choosing different things, that could very possibly be so. But I think Wilkin Formby is going to be the guy out there to start the game for Alabama. Elijah Pritchett also going to get some reps at that right tackle position. That position battle is not over whatsoever. It'll probably take at least 1 or 2, possibly even 3 games to really shake out that right tackle position battle. So I know, guys, we have asked this question over and over and over again, but it is the biggest position battle on the offensive side of the ball right now. Who do you guys have at right tackle? Type WF in the comments if you think it's going to be Wilkin Formby, or type EP if you think it'll be Elijah Pritchett. Guys, football season is officially back, and I tell you what, I do not have any time to cook once I get home, and that's why we want to give a shout out to our friends over at Factor Meals, because they are the sponsor of today's show. Like I said, I don't have time to cook, and that's why I use Factor's no prep, no mess meals. Meet your wellness goals thanks to the menu of chef-crafted meals with options like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, and Keto. Factor's fresh, never frozen meals are dietitian approved and ready to eat in just 2 minutes. So no matter how busy you are, you'll always have time to enjoy nutritious, great tasting meals. Make today the day you kickstart your health routine. What are you guys waiting for? With 35 different meals and more than 60 different add-ons to choose from every single week, you will always have a new flavor to explore. Crush your wellness goals this month with dietitian-approved meals and ingredients that you guys can trust. Head to factormeals.com/BamaChat50 and use code BamaChat50 to get 50% off your first box and 20% off your next month's box. That code is BamaChat50 at factormeals.com/BamaChat50 to get 50% off your first box and 20% off your next month's order while your subscription is active. That link will be in the comments section and the description of today's video. The next position group we're going to roll out is the defensive line. And I tell you what, guys, there is a lot of talent on this defensive line. And when it comes to the starters, besides Jamari and Latham, I think you've got a lot of proven talent as well. Tim Smith has been in the program for a long time now. I think Tim Keenan really has a chance to, solidify himself as a first or second round draft pick if he, shows out this year, which I definitely think he can. I really hope Jaheim Otis is able to stay healthy this year as well. Last year, he was banged up a lot, so if he can stay healthy, I think he's going to contribute a lot for Alabama at that defensive tackle position. And then I think one of the bigger, position battles on the defense as well is between Jamarian Latham and LT Overton at that bandit position. I think there's a chance, depending on whether it's, run downs or pass downs, something like that, there's a chance that you can see those guys kind of rotate in and out as well. I also like the fact that, we'll talk about here in a second, the possibility of a double wolf situation on the field where you take that bandit off the field and then you also put two wolves on the field. I think that would be really, really fun as well for Alabama, which brings us to the linebackers as well. Deontay Lawson, Jahad Campbell are going to be your two starters, but what we've heard from Alabama's defensive coordinator, Kane Womack, Justin Jefferson, he believes can also be a third starter for you, and he has also said that, there are possibilities that they could put three, true linebackers on the field all at the same time with Deontay Lawson, Jahad Campbell, and Justin Jefferson. But like I said, you also have Quandarius Robinson at that wolf/outside linebacker position. Him and Keanu Coate are going to go back and forth. Like I said just a second ago, there's going to be opportunities where both of those guys get on the field at the same time. And I think, in regular down situations, I think it's really going to be a battle this year between Quandarius Robinson and Keanu Coate, who is really going to have the most production for you. I think that's going to be a really, really fun thing to watch. And then when you go to the backups at that linebacker position, Jeremiah Alexander's been beat up just a little bit, so we'll see, what happens there. But then Justin Jefferson, like I said, has been playing really well. And I tell you what, too, I cannot wait to see Justin Okoronkwo get on the field again. I thought he looked really good on A-Day, and we've heard a lot of buzz from him from the coaching staff as well. Now to the defensive back position, I think these are going to be your starters for you. Damani Jackson at one of those cornerback spots. I think Deshaun Jones goes out there for, to start the season for you at that other cornerback spot. Malachi Moore, Keon Sabb, I got a lot of confidence in those guys at the two safety positions. And as long as Devontae Smith can stay healthy this season, I think he's going to be a really, really big contributor for you. I think he's been itching to get on the field the last couple of years. We heard Nick Saban last year talk about the fact that he was probably ready to go last year, but I think he went through a little bit of a shoulder issue. He had an ankle/foot issue as well in the spring. So, like I said, as long as he can stay healthy, I think Devontae Smith is going to be really, really good for you this year. So let me know in the comment section. There is a plethora of cornerback talent for Alabama. And Kane Womack this past week said you're going to see a few guys at that cornerback position. So let me know in the comment section, how many cornerbacks do you think we see this weekend against Western Kentucky? The minimum, obviously, is going to be 2. But I think there is definitely a chance you see a maximum of 4 or 5 cornerbacks get on the field for Alabama this weekend. So let me know what you think in the comment section of today's video. Last position group to go over. I think most of us know what is going on here. You got Graham Nicholson. We stole him from Miami of Ohio. He's going to be your starting kicker this year. Best kicker in the country, as we all know. James Burnip, one of the best punters in the country as well. I don't think he gets enough love. Obviously it's the punter position, so maybe he gets, as much love as he probably should have. But one of the best punters in the country. And then I want to give a shout out to Neelan Hibbett as well. He's going to be your long snapper this year for Alabama. And he was also most recently put on scholarship. That is a massive deal, especially for a lot of these guys who come in, they're not on scholarship. They get the playing time, especially they are those guys on those special teams. But man, being put on scholarship is such a massive deal. So type KH to congratulate Neelan Hibbett for getting put on scholarship? Do that for me right now in the comments section.